So with this story, I will begin by saying I was probably 15 or 16. Me and my friends were riding around, bored, as we live in a small, undeveloped city with nothing for younger kids to do except get into trouble, basically. We went to the backwards part of town, and was going to pick up another friend. We pulled up, and he didn't come outside because he was in his dad's shed. As we went into the shed, he was with 3 other guys from school, who we weren't really that close to. Everyone has that one friend who crosses social classes. One of the guys brought a Ouija board with him, and they were playing around with it with no luck. Now, I said earlier my friend lives in the backwoods. I mean, it's almost 6 miles from town with nothing but dirt roads and wood around. When they had no luck, my friend suggested this old graveyard in the middle of the woods. I didn't want to, but my only ride was going. We all piled up in 2 different cars, and he showed us the way. We got there, and it was a graveyard, but a small one. We set it on a headstone. Nothing happened, so at this point we were all convinced it was a crock. So not to make this trip a waste, he pulled out the weed. I didn't smoke, but I was drinking. After a while, we were all buzzed, sitting in the middle of the graveyard. I had maybe 4 beers by this point, and went to go piss. It was dark out, so I cut my light on my phone, and proceeded to a bushed area. Now when I got to the corner of the graveyard, it was thick and overgrown, so when I was seeing something beyond the bushes, I was surprised. I called my friends over, and it was the worst run-down building that was still standing I have ever seen. It seemed to be an old church, maybe early 1900s, if I had to guess, and it matched the age of the date on the tombstones. We all stopped talking and started walking through the bushes to reach the front. It was approximately 550 to 600 square feet. It wasn't big at all. There were benches in there for sitting, and a table. Holes in the floor as well. All you could see was overgrown grass, holes in the ceiling, etc. Now after we got done checking it out, they all suggested we try the Ouija board in there. As we got in a group and decided to give it a go, they wanted me to ask questions, so I did. Simple questions like, is anyone here? Who are you? The thing began to move. We all thought each other was playing, and all asked, were we moving it? One at a time, with all of us doubting each other. It went to L, and then to H, and then R, and stopped. With us all confused, we were sure that it was someone in the group leading it to random things. Then Josh, the one of the 3 guys I said I wasn't that good of friends with, but knew him, asked out loud, are you a woman? We all waited, and Josh was beside me. Then he got wide-eyed and grabbed my arm, and was squeezing as hard as he could. He wouldn't say anything. I said, damn Josh, what's up, man? He just looked off in the distance, and soon after collapsed and was out cold. I swear on my kid's life, I am not making this up. He just literally passed out without any logical reason. I was looking at him scared, and soon all the light fled from the room as each and every one of them left him in there. I stayed by his side trying to wake him up. Afraid by this time I just tried to tune out my adrenaline, which was telling me to run as well, but Josh came back too and asked, what the fuck? I told him let's go, and we ran out of the front, only my phone was getting smoked out from the surrounding dust in the air. We ran by the graveyard and seen one of our friends. As we got closer, we noticed our friends had left us. They left us about 2 miles from our friend's house on a dirt road. We both stopped as we realised it wasn't our friend, and took off in the opposite direction until we ended up on the old country road. We were walking for about a minute when we saw headlights, and that was our friends. They asked us what happened. Me and Josh got in the car and went back to our friend's house. Josh called his dad to pick us up. Me and Josh never did hang out with them again, but instead formed our own friendship without them. And that was the last time we ever screwed around with a Ouija board. So 6 years later, a couple of months ago, in real time, me and Josh checked out the old place, went by there, and the church was gone, but the graveyard was still there. We walked around and laughed at the fact that this was what made us become best friends. As we were ready to leave, on the way out we saw the planchette, and Josh threw it deep into the woods. Hi, Alexiana here. Thank you for watching, and I apologise that I've been gone for so long. I never meant to disappear for so long, but life happens, and I've been struggling with a lot of things that I won't go into now, but I'm back, and for good this time. I'm going to try and, have a regular upload schedule again, and not just disappear after this for an infinite amount of time. So thank you, and I'll see you again soon.